We have folks from all over the country joining us. Oh, there is Dr. Susanna Lowey. How are you, Dr. Susanna Lowey?
I'm doing so well. It's a
Oh,
pleasure to
I
be
can't, for
here.
some reason, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? No?
um, let me check on my end. It is good. We are. Ah, this should do it. Dr. Lowey.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Perfect. Yes,
All
yes.
right,
It was
great.
totally on my end. When we
Okay.
transferred, there was it changed something out. Good. So, greetings to everyone who's joining us. We will introduce ourselves shortly, but while we are getting ourselves situated, I wanted to see where do we have people joining us from. So, if you could in the chat tell us where you are watching us from and joining us from, if you feel so inclined. Oh, there may not be it looks like there's not a chat function. I thought there was a chat function. I just see share screen and record, but maybe it's on your end. Maybe you can see it. No, this is the first time we've done a virtual college fair. So generally I'm on the stage with Dr. Lloyd holding a microphone. So this is very different. Um, well, you can yell it out and we will hear it in spirit from where everyone's watching us from. Ah, so how are we doing? Oh, yes, maybe we'll give it another minute while folks. What did you do today, Dr. Lloyd?
Well, today I taught a ton. I'm the flute
Okay.
professor at Rowan University, so I had a bunch of flute students there today. I also practiced. I have an actual gig this weekend, socially distanced, safe, but I'm very excited to be playing this weekend. And I also took care of my little boy who is 6.5 months. And while my husband is, I'm sure, doing an exemplary job taking care of him right now, it is possible that at some point during this hour, you will hear background screams, for which
That's
I
great.
apologize in advance.
That's great. And I had rehearsals. I went to the gym first thing. It was the first time I've gone to the gym before work since March. It was a very weird feeling because I normally go to the gym for work anyway. And then we had rehearsals today. Had two rehearsals and recorded two different concerts, I think, in that short amount of time. And then came home and I practiced, Dr. Lloyd. I practiced my instrument. It was great. And I may have done an Instagram video as well. So
Big day. It was
that's right.
gorgeous out. I also went for a couple walks with Asher.
That's awesome. And now we are here for the fourth
Absolutely.
annual Project 440 College Fair for Musicians. Everyone give yourselves a hand. That's so awesome. Yes, so this is our fourth annual college fair. This is our first time we are doing it virtually. Of course, because of the pandemic, we normally hold this event right here in Philadelphia. But before I start telling you a little bit more about the event and Project 440, I thought I would tell you a little bit about myself. I am Joseph Conyers. I am a founding member and executive director of Project 440. We are based here in Philadelphia. And what else do I do? I am the assistant principal double bass of the Philadelphia Orchestra. And if you don't know what a bass is, that's a bass. That is Riley. Norma is at the hall. She's very, very tired. She was played a lot today. Riley, I got to play on a little bit this afternoon. I also conducted the All City Orchestra, which are the top performing students of the school district of Philadelphia, right here in Philadelphia. So that's also great. I'm on the faculty of the Juilliard School on double bass and at Temple University, which I'm really, really proud to be a part of. And I do a lot of different things because I like doing a lot of different things. Being a musician is great, but even greater than that is being able to share it in different ways with different people all over the world. And that's one thing I want to talk to you about Project 440. That's what we are about. Because one of the things I really wanted to do was really inspire young musicians that through music they can become anything they want to be. Some of you may be watching right now and saying, like, I really want to go into music and I'm definitely going to go, I'm going to conservatory and I'm going to practice 30 hours a day. And yes, and that's great. Some of you might be, well, I really like playing, but I might want to do something else. And you know what? At Project 440, that's okay. As a matter of fact, we're excited about the fact that there are young musicians like yourselves who might be looking at the profession and all the different wonderful things that one can do in music. When you have the skill set that it takes to be a musician, you can really, really go anywhere. And when we start to talk about our programs at Project 440, you will start to understand how that fits into our construct. So we are based here in Philadelphia, and we are a music organization that doesn't teach music. Well, how does that work? Well, while of course we observe music and we understand the major role that music, that of technique and learning these things will help develop one's musicianship, we use music, the process of music, the process of making music, as a tool to teach entrepreneurship, leadership, and service. And we also develop college and career skills in high school musicians via an after-school program. So via after-school programs, and Dr. Lowey will tell you more about that. So again, our philosophy is that music can take you anywhere. And there are many folks who played music while they were young, who are in many different fields, but they will also tell you the role that music played. And there are parts of our fair that share some of those stories. So we hope you are able to check out the Hoover platform and see some of those stories online. So about the fair itself, we have about 60 institutions, 60 from all over the country here to meet you. They have already set up their exhibitor booths so you can check out what they have to offer and see what might be the best fit for you. I mean, some of you might be wanting to go to conservatory, but some of you might be thinking about a university experience, a place where you can get intensive musical training, but also have more of a, honestly, well-rounded collegiate experience that will also give you more academics and that kind of thing. We have the whole gamut at this fair, and we invite you to check that out. We also have a few summer music festivals. We're so excited to have summer music festivals joining us for the fair, so you can check them out as well. And you, the participants, are from all over, literally, the world. So we're really excited to have you all joining us, and thank you so much for being part of this experience. So, of course, this is not possible without really, really special people to make this thing happen, and these are our sponsors. And I'd like to give a special shout out to our title sponsor, and that's the Philadelphia Music Alliance for Youth, the Artists Initiative here in Philadelphia. We are really proud to be a member and a partner of the Philadelphia Music Alliance for Youth, and we will tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But we also want to say thank you to IATSE 8, which is the local stagehands union right here in Philadelphia, Levan Newhick Stapleton LLC, Kang, Haggerty, and Thetfroit Law LLC, the Jonathan Fink Group. They are all at our promotion level. And then at our exhibitor plus level, we have Local 77, American Federation of Musicians, which is the musicians union here in Philadelphia, and the program College Prep for Musicians. We are so grateful to have their support and allowing us to be able to present this opportunity for you all today. We also want to give a special shout out to Witty Gritty. Witty Gritty are the folks who actually help put this together. So really big special shout out to them, because without their guidance, this would not be possible. So a little bit back to that Philadelphia Music Alliance for Youth. I want to tell you a little bit more about it, but I think you've already gotten sick of hearing me speak. So we're going to show you a video instead about the Philadelphia Music Alliance for Youth, our title sponsor for the 4th Annual College Fair for Musicians. Dr. Lowey.
Within a piece, it has different moods, and it also requires dynamic expression.
The variety.
So much variety in it.
How there's a large variety of it, more than any other genre of music.
One reason why I love classical music is its ability to bring people together and build relationships, especially in chamber and orchestral music.
It's its own unique art form.
The reason why I like classical music is because it can really brighten up somebody's day.
That the learning is infinite and you never fully master a piece.
More than ever, the arts are integral in helping us connect to ourselves and the world around us.
I hope that quarantine ends so I can get back playing with my peers.
We are
the
PMAY
Artists Initiative.
The Artists Initiative.
The Artists Initiative.
Excellent. So the PMAY Artists Initiative, you got to see many members and many of our young artists who are part of the program. It is a pipeline program funded by the Mellon Foundation that provides a pipeline for students from underrepresented communities to one day make it into the stages of American orchestras, concert hall, and performing centers. And we are really proud to be a partner with PMAY, and we're really thankful to PMAY for being a title sponsor for the Project 440 College Fair. So now that you've learned about Project 440 and a little bit about our presenting sponsor, I would like to toss it over to Dr. Lowey, who can tell you a little bit more about Project 440 programs in particular. Dr. Lowey.
Thanks so much, Joe. Just to tell you a little bit about who I am, my name is Susanna Lowey, and I'm a flute player. What that means right now is that I'm doing a ton of teaching and all kinds of teaching, from teaching flute lessons to teaching leadership and entrepreneurship for Project 440, to teaching beginner flute classes for Rowan University, to teaching for the New World Symphony about online best practices. So, and as I kind of mentioned when Joe and I were talking a little bit before 6, it does seem like some of the groups that I play with are starting to safely restart some video projects, video and recording. So usually I have tons of rehearsals and tons of performances embedded within everything else that I'm doing. But the past 7 months has been very intensive on teaching, and it's been interesting because it has made me put my attention and kind of my emphasis in terms of how I think about myself into a different box. And I'm bringing all of this, or I'm talking about all of this, because what Project 440 does is it prepares students, if you're going to be a professional musician, or even if you're not going to be a professional musician, to be able to use your music in so many different ways. So we have, as Joe mentioned, we have after school programs and 2 main programs. One is called Instruments for Success, and it's a college preparatory program. And so it's using your music as a lens to guide you through the entire college application process. What you should know about SATs and SATs, what colleges look for in a prospective student, and navigating financial aid and grants and scholarships, and one-on-one college counseling with our own college specialist, Sigus, the college fairy Vanny, who you'll get to hear from a lot over the next few days. And we also go into all of this through a musician's perspective. So how does music fit into all of this? How to get financial aid as a musician, what you need to do for your auditions, either live or recorded, as most things are these days. Instruments for Success is a 10-session course. Each session is 2 hours. The first portion is led by our wonderful Sigus, the college fairy Vanny, and he is just a wealth of information. His tagline is, "I know stuff," and he absolutely knows tons of stuff. And I know he kind of likes to be the one to break this to you, but I always like to kind of preempt it and say that Sigus was a Jeopardy champion, so you know that he does indeed know stuff. And then the second portion of each session is taken over by a teaching artist who leads the class through interactive reflections to make sure that the course really has a scope, an arc, and that everybody is really understanding everything that's going on. Within Instruments for Success, we also have career sessions that are led by professionals in a variety of musically oriented careers. So not just performers, and even if it were just performers, it wouldn't be just performers from the classical music stage, although we always incorporate the classical music stage, because yes, that's absolutely very important. But we also want you to hear from professional jazz musicians, or people that were trained as classical musicians and then ended up doing something completely different, like perhaps they're in the FBI now and they still use their music contacts and their music skills and everything that they learned from being a musician on a daily basis. So this 10-session course really gives a great overview as to what to expect as you prepare for applying to college, and then also a nice introduction to all the different things that, or all the different careers that you could possibly pursue as a musician, or just somebody who loves music and wants to keep music in your life. Our other after-school program is called Doing Good, Entrepreneurial Musicians Making a Difference. And this is all about social entrepreneurship and the 21st century musician. So leadership and entrepreneurship through music. And so we talk about transforming communities through music, how you would think as an artist entrepreneur, using curiosity and creativity and collaboration to understand what it is to be a good leader. And thinking about diversity and inclusion, how to learn from each other, looking through community engagement and interactive performance, how to most effectively engage your audience and your communities. Then we talk a lot about getting the word out, how to advertise your programs, how to fundraise for your programs, because money indeed matters. And then putting it all together to present your projects and get feedback from a panel of industry professionals. And then for the second half of the course, actualizing the project. Each project is given $500 seed money, and the projects are created in the communities. So Doing Good is a 25-session course, so it's pretty intensive. It lasts an entire semester, meeting twice a week. And we also do have a model where we meet once a week throughout the whole year. Those two courses had historically been in person after school, and we have pivoted to an online version. Now, of course, online teaching is a completely different experience, and online learning is a completely different experience. However, one of the benefits that we've seen is that we've been able to engage with students across the country and indeed across the world. And so we have right now two different, actually 3 cohorts of Doing Good and a handful of cohorts of Instruments for Success planned for the year. So the way we see this moving forward, we would love to be back in person in Philadelphia, and we hope that we also continue some sort of online teaching past the pandemic, because this will end, not tomorrow, but eventually. But what we've realized is that there are benefits to being able to reach more students. And so perhaps our programming at that point would have both online and in-person components. Now, both of our after-school programs have textbooks and curriculums that are specific to the program. The textbooks were written for the program, so we have a lot of heavily vetted and researched materials and curricula to share with anybody who takes our after-school programs. The students in Philadelphia within the Philadelphia School District are given a stipend for attending our programs, because we feel that the students' time is worthwhile, and we acknowledge that part-time jobs are important, an important part of a lot of high school students' lives. And so we want everybody to have the opportunity to be able to learn the information and be part of these fantastic programs and get to know their musical peers. And so we don't want money to be an issue. So the students within the Philadelphia School District get $11 an hour for coming to our program. So that's something that we're very proud that we've been able to do. Our other programs, you're part of it. We have our College Fair for Musicians that happens every year. And as Joe mentioned, it's typically in person at the Kimmel Center. And so since it's virtual this year, we have many more colleges and many more students attending. So we look forward to everything that you're able to experience, and then all of your feedback after these next 3 days. And we will be talking more about the platform and all of the different workshops that will be throughout the college fair when we see you at 7. And lastly, our last portion of our programming is the Youth Advocacy Council. Now, the Youth Advocacy Council, it's a hard word to say sometimes, is a group of our alums that want to continue participating in Project 440. And so once a month they meet and talk about what else they can be doing in their communities and how else they can continue influencing their communities, their musical communities, through events. One of the events that they're doing right now is a panel called Music in Color, where they meet to talk about the issues affecting the students of the students today. Those are our 4 flagship programs, and we're excited that you're here for the College Fair for Musicians today. And if you have any questions about our programs, I'd be happy to answer them at any time. Send me an email at slowey@project440.org. It's lots of places. You can find it on the Project 440 website. Or ask any questions at the orientation session at 7 p.m. I know Joe's going to wrap everything up in a minute or so, but I just wanted to mention that we wanted to make sure that you have plenty of time in between these 2 sessions to experience the Whova platform and click around, and anything that you're confused about or that seems to come up for you before 7 o'clock, come ready with those questions and we will do everything we can to answer them for you at 7 o'clock. Joe, anything that I forgot to say that you want to add? Let us know your thoughts.
You did awesome. That was great. That was everything. And what's super exciting is I found the chat because it's on the Whova platform. I was looking on my screen like an idiot, but it's right here. So welcome to those of you who are in New Jersey, who are in Pennsylvania, who are in Washington State, California, and even Sao Paulo, Brazil. Thank you so much for joining us. And you can see a lot of the sessions, well, all the sessions will be run this way, so you'll be able to interact with sometimes each other, and that's who you're talking to. Honduras! All right. Everyone's Memphis, Tennessee. All right, this is great. This is wonderful. So thank you all for joining us. On behalf of the rest of the Project 40 staff, which is Andy Sable, our operations manager, our board of directors, and our many, many supporters of Project 40 who help make our programming possible, welcome to the 4th annual Project 40 College Fair for Musicians. We hope you have a fantastic time. There are so many great seminars and so many wonderful speakers and so many wonderful institutions. We hope you can just spend the next 48 hours living it up on our platform and learning as much information as humanly possible. So thank you very much. Use this time, as Dr. Lowey said, to get acquainted with the platform and come back at 7 o'clock with all your questions, many, many questions. Pages,
that many.
Pages of questions.
No, not at all.
Come back with your questions and they will be answered so you can have the smoothest experience possible. Everyone, thank you again for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.